as a youngster in 2009, right here in Jasna. And so far this season, she's been the best of the giant slalom skiers. Oh no, Brignoni in early trouble and hits the deck hard. And Brignoni unlikely to race slalom tomorrow, so that has been a wasted journey. Brother Davide there, can't believe what he's just witnessed. Federica Brignoni skiing out at gate number 3. So it'll be down to Lara Gutberami now to try and be the first one down the hill. Brignoni, there's a little roller there. She came over it. She was out of shape, out of view as well, and then emerged back into, I will see it from this angle. This is the same angle we saw as she skied out. I wonder if that's a problem with the way her skis were prepared. It's really icy here today. Brignoni normally doesn't have a problem in these conditions. She knew she had to push hard because it's flat and icy. And Brignoni will now be a spectator at the side of the course. Well, what a weekend for Federica Brignoni. She was talking in her pre-race interview about how difficult it was to get here and how long it took them. All that effort for 4 turns in Jasna, because she's unlikely to compete in slalom tomorrow, but she may. We'll see. So Lara Gutberami's ready to race now. The winner in Killington, second in Tremblant, second again in Kranjska behind Val Grenier. I wonder if this course will suit her. Certainly she'll thrive on the ice, but she does enjoy the courses that are slightly steeper. Gutberami, fresh off the back of that Super G win in Altenmarkt, Zalkensee last Sunday. She's had a top 6 in downhill, 3 podiums in Super G, 2 wins and 2 further podiums in giant slalom, 40 World Cup successes. Actually, you know what? I think some of the athletes won't mind that 3 or 4 minute delay that was brought about because of the crash of the forerunner, because it's just brought a bit of sunshine into play, meaning that visibility will be slightly improved on the top of the track for the earlier starters. Certainly by the time 30 to 40 come down, we should have the run lit up beautifully. That will warm the spectators as well, who are freezing in -8 conditions at the bottom of the course. This has been a terrific performance from Lara Gutberami, starting with bib number 2, but she is now the pathfinder because Brignoni never got beyond gate number 4. Great start to the racing this morning in Jasna. Lara Gutberami setting the pace, 1 minute 13.15 seconds. Gutberami. We'll just have to wait and see how good that is as we move to Sara HECTOR, the Olympic champion, on her way. Powering out of the start. She'll attack. It's the only way she knows how. Buoyed by Tuesday night's first ever World Cup slalom podium. Sara HECTOR only knows one way to ski a giant slalom course, and that is full attack. And she is motoring at the top here, with an advantage that is growing all the time over Lara Gutberami, and is now beyond a second. Cracking start for the Olympic champ. Bit of sunshine. She'll enjoy the excellent visibility on that part of the course. Great angles here. And the gap over Gutberami is growing with every turn. It's now nearly 1.5 seconds. She said in her pre-race interview how much she liked this course. Certainly it was flat, but it was as well prepared as anything they've seen so far this season. And she's about to lead by a mile here. Sara HECTOR storming down the Lukova course in Jasna. Roared through every turn. The lead will be immense. Nearly 3 seconds. My word. Sara HECTOR, that's going to take some stopping this morning. She seemed to thrive in these conditions in Jasna. Sara HECTOR. And Petra Vlhova now has to try and replicate that sort of speed and aggression on her home hill. Knows this track better than anybody else. She'd have raced here as a youngster. It's her home mountain. She lives just 17 kilometers away in the car, and she knows this like the back of her hand, but she's in trouble and down and out. She's fine. I hope that raised hand is a signal that she's okay. But she certainly seemed to be a little uncomfortable as she hit the deck there, Petra Vlhova. And I'm not so sure, actually, that she was signalling that she's fine. I think quite the opposite now. I think Vlhova's in trouble here. Goodness me. Petra Vlhova getting to about gate number 10 before it all unraveled. Down she went, desperately trying to force her way back into the track. So we've had 4 starters, but only 2 finishers so far. Brignoni, the World Cup leader, and now the hot home favourite. Petra Vlhova goes down, and let's hope that she is uninjured. Looked a little twisted and potentially dangerous as she headed towards the safety netting. Petra Vlhova's team waiting now. The crowd are silent. Sara HECTOR leads by nearly 3 seconds to Lara Gutberami. Continue. Sara HECTOR leads. Next to ski, Valerie Grenier from the Canadian team. Winner of the last World Cup giant slalom of the season. That was in Kranjska Gora, round 6 of the Tour, where she's had both of her World Cup successes now. Already nearly a second off the pace of Sara HECTOR. Started the season well, and it's been an improving picture. 7th in Solden, 5th in Killington, 8th and 6th on home snow in Mont Tremblant. Then that near miss in Lienz at Christmas, 4th on the Austrian hill, and then she had that win on the Podkoren in Kranjska Gora. Long way behind here though, Val Grenier, 2.69. And Grenier, I think, after all that's gone before, has probably just taken her foot off the gas. She won't be the only one. 57.33 has long since ticked by. Val Grenier is 3.5 seconds slower than the leader, Sara HECTOR. Grenier unable to make an impact here. And I'm just starting to speculate what the gap might be between 1st and 30th today. Could be 5 or 6 seconds, maybe more, with Gutberami 3 seconds off and Grenier 5 seconds off. This could be one of those freaky races. But we still have Bassino, Shiffrin, Holtman, Grich, Mowinckel coming up. Then Paula Moltzan, Lutic, Stiernersen, Gazinica, Danielle. Alice Robinson starts with number 15. 20 World Cup giant slalom podia. And away she goes. Long wait in the cold for Marta Bassino, starting with bib number 6, but it's half an hour since the race began. Well, not quite, actually, because there was a 5-minute delay, so it's 25 minutes on. Bassino's in trouble. Same part of the course where teammate Federica Brignoni came unstuck. Bassino skis away from the mistake and continues down the course, but again, she's miles behind Sara HECTOR, whose lead is looking more and more untouchable today. Of course, SHIFFRIN will be coming next, so you can't conclude anything definitively until you've seen Mikaela SHIFFRIN race. SHIFFRIN will be disappointed, I think, if she doesn't get close to HECTOR's time. Marta Bassino could be 6 seconds off here. Oh, goodness me, more than that. 6 1/4. This is one of those weird races with all the worst things happening early on. This is one we won't forget. Oh, my word. 8.21 seconds. But I'm not even going to speculate that puts Bassino out of the second run, because who knows what might happen here. Good recovery there, but that only probably cost her half of the now Mikaela SHIFFRIN. The winner in Lienz at Christmas. She's had more success in slalom than she has in GS this season. Let's see how close Mikaela SHIFFRIN can go to Sara HECTOR's time. Nice, powerful start from SHIFFRIN. Soaking it up here. Easing her way through the flats with precision giant slalom technique. Started the season with a modest 6th place in Solden, then 3rd on 3 straight occasions, Killington, and twice 3rd in Tremblant. Then the victory, World Cup win number 92 in Lienz, followed by a 9th in the race won by Valgrenier in Kranjska Gora. And SHIFFRIN is 0.66 off the pace of Sara HECTOR, skiing for 2nd position. Oh, these are great turns on the lower half. World Cup win number 94 came in Flachau's slalom under floodlights on Tuesday. Mikaela SHIFFRIN almost home and dry here, giving herself every chance of skiing for World Cup win number 95 a little later today if she makes it across the line, which she does, in touch, exactly a second off the pace of HECTOR after the delay when she'd witnessed the 2 crashes. That was very tasty from Mikaela SHIFFRIN. Sara HECTOR, I don't think will be beaten now. I can't see that she'll be beaten now. Next to ski, Minna Holtman from Norway. Starting with bib number 8. It's been going well in training, Holtman, but then unable to really produce the goods on race day. Had 1 top 10 in Solden in giant slalom. Where is she? There she comes back into view now. 2.5 down. Well, I think in the grand scheme of things, that's pretty impressive. 5th in Levy, her best result this season. Let's follow her on the drone through the shade and into the sunshine. This wasn't expected, because the first 20 down the hill would have been expecting to race in the shade. But they've got the benefit of sunshine, or did that just favour Sara HECTOR, who started relatively early with bib number 3 and won't be beaten now? I just can't see it. SHIFFRIN, the best in the world, was closest, but a full second back in 2nd place. This could be good enough for 3rd for Minna Holtman, and she's still going to be maybe 4 seconds off the pace. Holtman gets it done. It's 4th in the end, 4.35 seconds down. I wonder what that gap is going to be between 1st and 30th. 7, 8, 9 seconds, maybe? Could be a record breaker. Franziska Grich of Austria starts next, the first of the Austrian contingent this morning. Grich with the change to her arrangements, having moved away from officially racing within the Austrian team and just travelling and training with her coach, who's also her partner. They made that decision. It was approved by the Austrian team. I think everything is amicable between the 2 parties, but it was a difficult moment for Franziska Grich, because suddenly the funding was gone. I saw she found herself a car deal to at least get the transport, but it's not a cheap business travelling and training and racing on the World Cup. Franziska Grich 3 seconds off the pace at the 2nd intermediate. Now she's in sector number 3, and that gap is growing all the time. But if she's within 5 seconds, she's got a chance of going for a podium in the 2nd run, would be my analysis of this so far. Franziska Grich starting to tire. It's a flat course, but it demands stamina. Franziska Grich Gets it done for Austria. 5.82 seconds off the pace of Sara HECTOR. 3 seconds separating the top three. I was starting to think that Lara Gutbarami's run, she was the first one to finish. After HECTOR came down, I was starting to think that Lara Gutbarami might not make the second run, but I tell you what, she could be in second after this first run still. Ragnhild Mowinckel of Norway. I meant third, of course, for Lara Gutbarami, of course, because Mikaela SHIFFRIN is skewed into second. Number 10 on the hill, Ragnhild Mowinckel. Pushing hard on the top. Oh, seems to be thriving. She was one of two Norwegians alongside Kajsa Kovli, who will be making her World Cup giant slalom debut today, who struggled to get out of Norway because of the intense snow. They were flying via Vienna. They were delayed for hours and hours and hours and got to Vienna, and then their coach was waiting and drove them here. She's had good Super G form this season, a 9th in St. Moritz and a 4th last time out in Altenmark-Zaukensee. 1.5 seconds. This is impressive from the Norwegian Ragnhild Mowinckel. Oh, she's in trouble. Puts the brakes on. Managed to make the next red. Good fight back. Good recovery from Ragnhild Mowinckel. Gives herself a real shot here, heading into the second run. I know that gap looks big, but if you've just joined us, this has been a freaky race so far. Sara HECTOR leads the way. Mowinckel is third, nearly 3 seconds off, but good enough for third. HECTOR leading, SHIFFRIN second, Mowinckel third, Gutbarami fourth, followed by Holtmann, Grenier, Grich and Bassino. Paula Moltzan is next to ski, travelling with her husband Ryan Mooney. Moltzan, we understand, is one of those who has to train. If she's not training every day, she doesn't feel as if she's doing the right thing, and she has to be controlled and moderated by her team just to make sure she doesn't do too much time on snow. Early error there from Paula Moltzan, but a decent recovery. Originally from Minnesota. Started off up at Buck Hill, just near Minneapolis, the same hill where Lindsey Vonn first cut her teeth as a ski racer, and of course went on to win 82 World Cup races, Olympic golds, World Championship golds as well. And then, like Lindsey Vonn, Moltzan moved to Colorado to Vail, made the move in 2010 with her family. So far this season, slalom has been her happier hunting ground with 3 top 10 results. Best in giant slalom came on home snow in Killington, where she posted the 8th fastest time. All the 3s at intermediate number 3 for Paula Moltzan. Oh, Moltzan stands tall. Managed to get that edge into the snow to avoid skiing out. Damage done, further damage done. She's down in 6th, 4.5 seconds off. Well, I think when she looks around and gets things explained to her, she'll see that's not so bad. Mikaela SHIFFRIN is a full second off the pace in second place. Then a further 2 seconds to Ragnhild Mowinckel in third. The gaps are enormous this morning in Jasna, and if you've just joined us and we're hoping for some home success for Petra Vlhova, then exactly the opposite happened, I'm afraid to report. She crashed out, injured herself and was stretchered off the course, and her weekend of racing, I assume, is over. Next to ski is Zrinka Ljutic from Croatia. Tenth in Lienz, 7th in one of the Tremblant races. She's had some consistent form in slalom this year as well, Zrinka Ljutic. This is pretty good. Ljutic finding a good line. Sunshine helping just to light up the course and show the racing line in all its glory. There are pockets of shade and sunshine. The delay that was brought about for 3 reasons. Forerunner crashed. Vlhova crashed and was stretchered off. Brignoni skied out. The delay was extensive, and it meant that weather conditions changed, with the sun creeping up over the mountain, lighting up the lower half, or the top half, I beg your pardon, and producing pockets of sunshine up and down the track. Sunshine in places in the grandstands as well, just to warm the faces of the bitterly cold and hugely disappointed home fans. Rinki Lutic has done a good job and is third for Croatia. Sara HECTOR generously applauding, but secretly she knows that she's the boss today. Race number 13, Louise Jasna from Norway. Consistently quickest of the Norwegian technical skiers in training, and then just fails to bring that to race day. But we understand that she is hungrier than ever for success this weekend in Jasna, and her best chance comes today. Fifth in Kranjska last time out. Of course, in Kranjska, very different to what we're seeing here today. Often the Podkoran can be a wall of ice, but this year it was soft and wet. They've worked really hard with the injection bar here at Jasna on the Lukova course to make it as firm and hard as possible, and it's holding up really nicely. Stjernesund giving a really good account of herself so far. Just over 2.25 seconds down, and that's growing through the undergate, coming off that roller. Long sweeping right-footed turn, and this is good from Louise Jasna. Top 5 is possible here. Gap between first and 10th, 8.2 seconds. Ridiculous numbers. Stjernesund 6th, 3.42 seconds off the pace. There's our leader. She won't stay there, I imagine, for too much longer. Wanting to get away and regroup ahead of the second run, where she will be last to ski, barring some sort of Alpine ski racing miracle now. Marina Gazielica Daniela of Poland is next to go with bib number 14. And away goes the first of the Polish contingent, Gazielica Daniela. 6th in Semmering, her best result from last season. So far this year, it's been a little mediocre, really, from Marina Gazielica Daniela. 1.76 seconds off the pace. And starting to dabble in Super G this season as well, having always been mainly a one-discipline skier. She seems to be branching out, picking and choosing Super G World Cup opportunities. Gazielica Daniela, 2.85 seconds off the pace. Pretty respectable, bearing in mind that we have an 8-second gap between the first and last of the finishers so far today, with a number of DNFs, Brignoni, Vlahova, and a few near misses as well. 1:10.18 for Sara HECTOR. Marina Gazielica Daniela was 4 gates from home when that time of the current leader flashed up. And she is down in 10th, 5.35 seconds off the pace. I think that's probably still going to bring her a second run. Next to ski will be Alice Robinson, the New Zealander. Slides forward, the tap of the green ski poles. Robinson, off and away. Runner-up in Killington. 3 other top 10 giant slalom results this season. I'm going to ignore that green light on the side. She can't be that far ahead that early in the race, or can she? Looks pretty lively from Alice Robinson. Let's get a accurate check on the time here. This is more like it. Robinson's got the bit between her teeth here. Conditions favouring the young Kiwi, who's had that change of coaching staff this season. Now with Niels Koberger, who coached his sister to success on the World Cup. Tim calf involved as well, and Robinson is flying through the first two-thirds on the Lukova and looking at provisional second position here behind Sara HECTOR, who leads Mikaela SHIFFRIN with Zrinka Lutic third. But Alice Robinson is about to mix up the top three in this first run. 0.78, fine run from Alice Robinson, hasn't put a foot wrong, and she steams home for third, 1.05 seconds off the pace. Robinson looking at the time difference and then seeing the position. She's in good shape heading into the second run, but it's HECTOR who's in a different league so far. In downhill, 2 top 5s in Super G, a podium in slalom. Maybe this is the day with such big gaps when Mikaela Gizin can find her form in giant slalom for the first time this season. A bit of breeze at the top of the course starting to build. Good start, accurate start from Mikaela Gizin as she starts to open things up a third of the way down this Lukova course in Jasna. Big day, of course, for Alpine skiing with the men's downhill. Saturday downhill. It was full-length downhill in Kitzbühel, won by SHIFFRIN and Sara yesterday, but the Saturday is the one with the big crowds, and Ed Drake and Marcel Matisse will be bringing coverage from the Hahnenkamm a little later on. We will be heading there in less than an hour for coverage of the second day of downhill on the Strife course in Kitzbühel. Mikaela Gizin starting to run out of steam on the lower half after a really positive top section. Sara HECTOR's lead will not be threatened now as Gizin goes 11th. 5.18 seconds down. It's a big gap, but I think it's going to give her a second run. Talking of big gaps, I saw footage of the one-time Ingemarsch Denmark skied the Strife yesterday. Looking for points in the combined, and he ended up 10 seconds off the pace. Took it easy, the great man, with 86 World Cup wins to his name. Katharina Liensberger is on her way for Austria, already 2 seconds off the pace. .90 seconds the starting interval. Now let's get behind Liensberger on the drone. Just a little fearful when I see this shot, bearing in mind what happened to Marcel Hirscher in Madonna di Campiglio. It must be 10 years ago now, when the drone fell out of the sky and exploded into 1,000 pieces right behind where Marcel was racing in the Madonna slalom. You can find that clip on YouTube or a similar channel, I'm sure. Absolutely extraordinary. Obviously, the drones have become so much more reliable these days, but a bit of pilot error and anything could happen. Liensberger gets it finished in 14th position, 6.22 seconds slower than our leader Sara HECTOR, the Olympic giant slalom champion, out in front. HECTOR full of confidence after her first ever World Cup slalom podium in Flachau on Tuesday night. Julia Scheib, she's been impressive this season. It's been good to watch Julia Scheib. Let's see what she can do here in Jasna this morning. 7th in Killington, went even better in her home race at Christmas in Lienz, where she had a personal best. 5th position in the giant slalom and was the leader for quite some time, having had a sensational second run. Beautiful hazy sunshine on the course now, and those views across the Tatra Mountains are spectacular. -12 at the top. Just a little warmer at -8. The pre-race temperatures officially an hour or so ago. Julia Scheib is going to be a long way behind, 4.5 seconds with the final sector still to come. there are chances for later starters today to make a second run for the first time in their career, to score World Cup points potentially for the first time as well, with such enormous time differences. Shiving to 13th, but 5.7 seconds slower than Sara HECTOR. HECTOR leads, followed by SHIFFRIN, Robinson, Utic, Mo Winkel, Lara Gutberami, 3 seconds off the pace, but still holding 6th spot. Now Clara Direz. She's been on great form. That 4th place near miss in terms of making the podium in Mont Tremblant. Round 4 of the World Cup Tour, the highlight of her season so far. Private pilot's license holder, and she took Federica Brignoni up in her 2-seater plane for a tour of Monte Bianco on Brignoni's side and Mont Blanc on Direz's side. Fantastic footage that Federica Brignoni filmed, if you can find it and take a look. Really incredible views of the highest mountain in Western Europe. And Clara Direz is skiing beautifully here. Everything's relative, of course, because she's 2 seconds off the pace, but 3.33. This could be good enough for another top 7 performance heading into the second run for Clara Direz. And with the retirement of Tessa Worley, who was their greatest ever World Cup giant slalom skier, Clara Direz is very much flying the flag for the French and has skied into 9th position. Good enough to guarantee her a second run. Stephanie Brunner goes next with number 20. 18 times in a World Cup top 10. Stephanie Brunner. Oh, tricky start for Brunner, and she jams the brakes on and decides that she's going no further. I wonder if we'll see Brunner race slalom tomorrow. Isn't normally, but having made the journey and having achieved so little, she might decide that she will seek out the shorter slalom skis for Sunday's event here, which is another sellout. There will be no Petra Vlhova in action, I assume, having been stretched off the hill. Maybe it was just precautionary, but there must be some damage done for Vlhova. We are still anxiously awaiting an update.